Good morning. I'm here today with my friend and colleague, Gina from Become Reiki. And I thought I'd invite her in to talk about the unique aspect of Reiki that she does and to give you some more information for those of you that might be interested in learning more or contacting Gina, who is in Long Valley, New Jersey. So, Gina, welcome. How are you?
Thank you. I'm good, Rosemary. Thanks for having me here.
Good.
I'm excited.
Good. My dog's excited here that you're here. So, I wanted to first ask you about your Reiki journey and how it has helped you and your animals.
Sure. So my Reiki journey started in 2004, and I initially learned Reiki just for myself. And so my journey then took me to Reiki 2, which allowed me to be able to share Reiki with others. As my Reiki journey continued, I was able to make that decision that I was going to take it a step further and go to master level. At the master level, it increased my energy, and the animals were along the journey with me. And so at the time, I was wondering what I was going to be doing with the animals.
Mm-hmm.
And I decided that I would go to the master teacher level. So for a while, my journey was just teaching people. And sure enough, their animals started to come into the picture, and I realized that the next part of my journey was to learn Animal Reiki. So in addition to a Reiki master teacher for people, I also teach people Animal Reiki. And that allows them to be able to give this beautiful energy to your animals.
And as one of my former Reiki students, you were always outstanding and very gifted, and I always noticed your connection with animals and how kind and compassionate you are as a Reiki teacher and student of mine in the past. So you're on your own journey, and I'm really proud of all the things you've accomplished on your way.
Thank you, Rosemary.
So what I wanted to ask you is, when a person books a animal and person session with you, what happens as far as the connection between you and the animal and the owner? What happens during that session with them?
Sure. So what happens when a person books a Reiki session, usually they show their expression that they're going to receive the Reiki for permission to have Reiki. And for an animal, I need to get in touch with the animal ahead of time. And I do that with my intuition. I kind of just check in, is today a good day that you're going to be receiving Reiki? There's been a couple of times where I've actually shown up at the animal's place, and I just got this gut feeling of it wasn't a good day today. So when it is a good day, the animal will, since they're in their home, I work on cats, dogs, horses, and as small as birds in a cage. So they're in their home and they're relaxed. I meet them wherever they are. Sometimes the Reiki will be strong enough where they'll actually go into a separate room, and I'll still be sending Reiki to them, but they'll have decided to go in a separate room. Other times they will put their body parts that's bothering them the most into my hands. And I have a couple examples of that one, where I was working on a cat, and the cat had tooth problems, but I wasn't sure about it before the owner had told me. So the cat just kind of put its head into my hands, and I asked the owner afterwards, and I said, what is going on with your cat? And she informed me that she was getting a tooth extracted, and she was looking to see whether or not the extraction was needed for another tooth.
Okay. My dog is so fascinated with you, Gina. She's not left you alone since you walked in my home. So she is certainly, the huffing and puffing you hear is not us. It's my dog here that loves Gina. So I know you do receive messages from animals because you're quite intuitive with them, and you always have been. So I wanted you to explain what types of things an animal might tell you, or what that means when you receive messages from animals.
Sure. It's not always considered that it's not always going to happen as far as I'm going to receive a message from the animals. But when I do, it's actually a small voice that I hear, and they're just telling me about what they want me to know. It could be anything from they're worried about their pet parent, their mom, as far as that goes. Other times where I've communicated with animals has been if they have a message for me or the clients that I'm working on. They just kind of show up.
She's not going to leave you alone. Okay.
Guy wants to be a part of the interview.
She wants to be part of the interview here. Okay, so when you're saying animals show up, are you talking about animals in the home, or are you talking about animals in the spirit realm for you? What does that mean?
So when I'm talking about how animals show up, I just mean that they, the ones in the spirit realm, but they could also be in the physical as well. So, for example, you could notice a lot of squirrels in your yard. Perhaps that's kind of identifying that you have a lot of things to sort out, like known as like squirrels in your attic. You have to do a lot of thinking like that. Yeah. Another example could be you notice birds flying above, encouraging you to soar, to let go and be with your higher self and kind of tap in.
Okay, interesting. Animals are connected to Reiki, but I wanted to know, like, how are they connected, and what happens when you know you've gotten a connection with them?
Sure. When I'm in the Reiki space, I'm sharing the animal's energy or the person's energy. And when I know I've connected with them is I hear a voice that isn't mine. I recognize that through my training and through my background with learning the difference between is that my voice or someone else's, the animal's voice sounds like, to me, a little kid just kind of explaining to me what's going on.
That's neat. Okay. I know that you have a unique spin on how you do Reiki because of your training, because of your animal work. So I want you to explain the uniqueness of what you offer that maybe other people don't offer in the Reiki realm.
Sure. So in addition to Reiki for a person, I offer Reiki sessions for the pets. And that can be mostly done in the pet's home because they're mostly comfortable, but I also send it long distance. And so that's similar to how you would send a prayer. However, it's just sent with intention. And so I'll identify a time where the client wants their pet to receive the Reiki, and I'll send it out, and then I'll tap in before and after the session. And what I mean by tap in is I get into their space and just see how they're doing and just kind of get a feeling of where the Reiki is going and what kind of energy it is.
Okay. How does it help, like, when you go and do a session on the pet parent and the pet, how does that help both of them?
Well, when I'm brought to a home, it's so interesting because in the beginning, I'm just coming there for the pet. And so after a couple of sessions, I'll get this strong feeling that the dog or the cat or whoever I'm working on wants their person with them too. And so they'll kind of go and get them and lead them back into the room or something else. And what that does is that helps with the heart connection, that heart to heart, and how much we love our animals. They take our emotions and our feelings, and what Reiki does for them is it helps to clear that and create that bond between person and pet.
That's beautiful. I also know that you do a unique thing called animal totem cards. So I wanted you to just explain that, as I know that's on your website and people can purchase that and get one from you, and I'm really excited because you've done one for me in the past. So I want you to explain what an animal totem card reading is.
Sure. So animal totem card readings, what I do is I put myself in a quiet space and I use totem cards, or I use cards. However, the cards are just kind of a guide, and whatever cards come forward are the ones that are currently giving a message for the person at that time. Usually I'll choose 3 cards. Sometimes a 4th will kind of jump out, and the message is all about what's happening at that particular time. A totem animal is an animal that shows up in a person's journey for a short period of time with those messages. For example, if a person needs a lot of patience, perhaps they're seeing a lot of raccoons or something like that, where they're very resilient and they have to build and get things all together. Chipmunks are another one for gathering.
Right, okay. See what else I was going to ask you. Oh, so I do know that you teach all levels of Reiki, including Animal Reiki. What level does a person have to be at to learn the second level of Reiki or to learn Animal Reiki, I should
Sure.
say?
So as far as with your Reiki journey, when a person learns Reiki, they first learn Reiki 1, and that's for themselves. And they're to wait 6 months or so or more before they go to Reiki 2. At Reiki 2, your Reiki energy has quadrupled from the time you started with your journey. So therefore, you have it strong enough to be able to learn Animal Reiki. When you learn Animal Reiki, you want to make sure that your energy is grounded and clear before you start working on an animal, which is why I recommend a person be Reiki 2 before they're go learning Animal Reiki.
Very good. Gina, can you please tell everybody your website address and any other contact information you would like people to know so they can contact you?
Sure.
She's helping.
Gina Tupacheski, Become Reiki, Gina at becomreiki.com. And you can text at 201-400-4380.
Thank you so much for your time, Gina.
Thank you,
Appreciate
Rosemary.
it. Bye.